Children nibble their portions with wide eyes, aware that this is not an ordinary meal. It is a meal of presence, of gratitude, of stillness. You sit among them. A bowl is placed before you. The broth is fragrant, its warmth rising into your face. As you lift the spoon to your lips, the taste is simple, yet comforting. Earthy vegetables, tender grains, a hint of herb that lingers like memory. It is enough. It is more than enough. And as you eat, you feel the quiet settle even deeper, not just around you, but within you. The silent feast of Candlemas Eve has opened its arms, and you are welcome within them. Settle back again, dear listener. Feel the rhythm of your breath, slow and steady, like a tide that rises and falls upon a silent shore. The story continues at the same pace, calm, unhurried, inviting you to drift with it like a feather carried on still air. In the refectory, the meal progresses softly. The long tables glow with the light of dozens of small flames, their golden shimmer reflected in wooden bowls and pewter spoons. The air is fragrant with broth and bread, with the faint sweetness of beeswax melting into the night. Villagers eat slowly, reverently. There is no rush, no chatter. The silence is not awkward, it is tender, like a friend who sits beside you without the need for words. Every gesture, every passing of bread, every lifted spoon becomes an act of quiet devotion. At your table, an elderly man breaks his loaf in half, placing one portion before a child seated nearby. His hand trembles slightly with age, but his eyes are bright, warmed by the flame. The child accepts the gift with both hands, bowing his head in gratitude before taking the smallest of bites. This is how the feast is shared, not in plenty, but in presence. From the corner of the hall, you hear the faint crackle of a larger hearth, its embers glowing a deep orange red. Logs shift softly, releasing sparks that drift upward before fading into the stone chimney. The fire is not roaring. It does not need to. Its warmth is steady, like the heartbeat of the abbey itself. You close your eyes for a moment, and the sounds become clearer. The gentle scrape of wooden benches as villagers shift. The faint clink of spoon against bowl. The slow, steady breathing of many souls gathered in one place, all moving in harmony. It is a symphony of quiet, each note softer than the last. As you open your eyes again, the light has grown warmer, richer. Candles burn lower, their wax flowing slowly downward, pooling at their bases. Shadows lengthen across the walls, gathering like folds of velvet around the edges of the hall. And yet, in the center, the glow remains strong, a golden heart pulsing with steadiness. The priest, seated at the head of the table, does not speak. He simply sits in stillness, his candle flickering beside him. Occasionally, he looks out across the room, his gaze soft, filled with a calm that seems to settle upon every shoulder. He knows, as all here know, that words are not required tonight. The silence speaks more clearly than any sermon. The villagers eat until their bowls are empty, and then even the clink of spoons fades. Some rest their hands upon the table, watching the flames. Others bow their heads in quiet prayer. Children lean sleepily against their parents, lulled by the warmth and stillness. And then, gently, the priest rises. He raises his hand, not in command, but in blessing. The silence deepens, if such a thing were possible. Every candle seems to stand taller, its flame steady, its glow attentive. The priest does not speak aloud. Instead, he bows his head, and the villagers follow. Together, in unison, they breathe a single collective exhale that seems to empty the hull of every burden, every worry, and in that breath, peace lingers. The silent feast has reached its fullness. Slowly, carefully, villagers begin to stand. They lift their candles once more, forming a new procession. The meal has ended, but the light remains, carried onward. You rise with them, holding your own candle close to your chest, its flame steady, its warmth gentle against your hand. The procession moves through the abbey's corridors once more, back toward the great hall. Along the way, you notice details you hadn't before: carved crosses etched into the stone walls, tapestries faded with age, but still carrying images of saints and seasons, the faint scent of incense clinging to the air. Every surface seems touched by memory, as though the abbey itself has stored centuries of silence within its stones. At last you return to the main hall where the rows of candles still burn upon the altar. Their flames are lower now, but their glow is no less beautiful. The villagers place their smaller candles along the altar's edge, joining them once more to the greater light. The effect is breathtaking, a sea of tiny suns, each flame leaning gently toward its neighbor, as though in quiet conversation. The priest steps forward. He does not need to call for silence. It is already here. Instead, he simply bows his head, and the villagers bow with him. Together, they let the final moments of Candlemas Eve rest in their hearts. And then, slowly, one by one, the candles are extinguished. Not all at once, but carefully, tenderly, as though each flame is thanked before being released. A puff of smoke rises here, another there, curling upward to mingle with the shadows. The scent of beeswax deepens, sweet and earthy. Darkness grows, but it is not heavy. It is gentle, protective, like a cloak wrapped around weary shoulders. Only the hearth still glows, embers pulsing softly in the dimness. The villagers begin to leave the abbey, their footsteps hushed upon the flagstones. Some carry with them a small candle to keep lit through the night, its flame protected beneath clay lanterns. Others carry only the memory of the light, and that is enough.